a historical site left behind by the people of Gaya. A surprising piece of Gaya's history was discovered here. The story of 1600 years ago begins now. In 1990, a tomb was found that would reveal the truth of the mysterious Kumgwan Gaya in the Taesongdong tombs in Kimhae. In Taesongdong tomb number 57, the best of Gaya artifacts were found. It was a typical tomb of the ruling class of Kumgwan Gaya. Inside the tomb, 3 bodies were lying side by side. Out of the 3, only the lower half of the body remained on one. But the other 2 were in fair condition. The bones of the 3 were placed at the north side of the tomb. The fact that they were found on the northern side, near the feet that belonged to the tomb's owner, means that they were vassals who had committed suicide upon the death of their lord. Then who were the 3 who were buried together with their lord? The bones provided the information about who they were. An analysis concluded that the 3 were in their 20s to early 30s. Height can be determined by the bone length from the buttocks to the knee. During the analysis of the hip bones, an interesting fact came to light. The 3 were all women. All 3 had experienced giving birth at least once or twice. There was another interesting fact. All 3 had traces of developed muscles in the thigh bones above the knee and shin bones below the knee. Who were these young women with well-developed leg muscles? In Taesongdong's tomb number 57, iron weapons were also found. They were made of high-quality iron presumed to have belonged to the owner of the tomb. But 6 helmets were also found near the head of the 3 women. Could the helmets have belonged to them? By comparing the restored helmets to the helmets of the ruling class, we could find out who they belonged to. The helmets found near the heads of the women in tomb number 57 were of a simple shape covered with leather. It was clearly different from the helmet of the ruling class found in tomb number 18, which had an iron cap on top of the helmet. The helmet from tomb number 57 was of lower quality and seemed to have belonged to the women. Could this mean that they were female warriors when they were alive? We found the clue that would answer our question in Yeanli tomb number 57, which belonged to the ruling class of Gaya. The owner of the tomb was female. Inside her tomb, a sword that symbolized a commander and a spear that symbolized a warrior were found. Female warriors had existed in Gaya. The 3 bodies found in Taesongdong's tomb number 57 were female warriors who fought in wars 1600 years ago. Korea's first female warriors. They are new witnesses to the history of Gaya. 1600 years ago, the Iron Kingdom of Gaya moved the world. It wasn't a land shrouded in mystery, but a strong empire that prospered. Through the rusty iron, the glorious history of Gaya is being revived once more. Korean ancient history, Gaya had been pushed to the side, hidden behind a shroud of legends. However, Gaya had settled in the southern part of the Korean peninsula and had a history of nearly 600 years. Gaya existed during the same period as Goguryeo, Baekje, and Silla. The people of Gaya formed a large power with its iron culture and laid the foundations to grow into a strong state. With their advanced iron technology, they were able to mass-produce weapons to conquer and defend. The wooden plate armor frame was used to shape iron three-dimensionally in order to fit the body. This shows that the people of Gaya mass-produced iron armor. It wasn't only the people in Gaya's army that wore armor. Their horses did as well. The various harnesses such as bits and horse helmets tell us that Gaya also used cavalry tactics. Gaya, which had large cavalry units and heavily armed warriors, also had a strong state system based on its iron culture. During the 4th century, East Asia was going through major changes. Goguryeo was at war with Baekje, and in the south of the Korean peninsula, Kumgan Gaya and Silla were battling for supremacy. So Kumgan Gaya organized its weapons system and adopted cavalry tactics, while also training units of female warriors. Although its hopes of becoming a state were lost as it ended up being annexed into Silla, Gaya was one of the 4 kingdoms, including Goguryeo, Baekje, and Silla, which built the history of Korea. At the time, Gaya had advanced ironware and was able to be in a superior position among the other kingdoms. Gaya's ironware was also recognized for its value and was a major trade commodity in the world. Also, the people of Gaya used iron as currency. According to the Chinese Book of Wei in the records of the 3 kingdoms, Gaya's fame as an iron production and export state was widely known. At the time, states thought highly of Gaya's iron ingots as a trade commodity. In Japan, ingots that were similar to Gaya's were also found. But since Japan was unable to produce iron until the 5th century, the ingots are most likely to have come from Gaya. Items that Gaya received from the Japanese ruling class in return for supplying iron were found in Gaya's tombs. In addition, the Chinese artifacts that were buried in the tombs also show that iron was traded internationally. The ports of Gaya, which were once the base of overseas trade, have now become a large plain. But during the period of Gaya, Kimhae was not a plain, it was a bay with a water level of about 5 meters. Kimhae was Gaya's international port blessed with nature, and international trade ships had once come to the plains of Kimhae. 1,600 years ago, Gaya was a strong kingdom that actively led overseas trade. Gaya dominated Northeast Asia with its iron culture. The history of iron was a proud part of Korean history.